Welcome back. It is a beautiful day here in Lower Alabama. The weather has been down in the 40s overnight and even down touching into the 30s. And right now it's beautiful. It's probably 70 or so. It's breezy. The sun is up. The air is nice and humid. It kind of feels like a cool tropical sort of a day. However, we have some frost coming, which means we have a lot of work to do, particularly in the grocery row gardens. But this is actually one of my favorite things to do. We are going to reset the grocery row gardens, and we are going to harvest what is in there, particularly out of our tropical root crops and our peppers and some other things. So I figured, hey, you know what? We're doing this anyways. I might as well take the camera along and make it take twice as long. The first thing we have to do out here is harvest peppers. We planted tons and tons and tons and tons of peppers, so we're gonna harvest them. Red, green, and in between. Kitty wants to eat peppers? That would be crazy. That would be a hot cat. It's Gen Z humor. You won't get it.
Look at it now.
It's just being uncomfortable. That's pretty much the entire thing.
Yep.
We just do really uncomfortable stuff.
Yep. But you're Gen X. Yeah.
All these millennials and Gen Xers think that Gen Z is so cool. They're like, hello, fellows.
Hello, fellow Gen Z. Hi, kids. I have some dank memes.
Oh my God.
I have some dank memes. Can you feel plants?
Yeah, they make the fruit in order to be carried away. I think we may have planted a few too many peppers, but we've picked them all 8, 10 gallons of them. I have no idea what we're gonna do with so many peppers because I've already made gallons of hot sauce this year, and I've dried gallons of them, and I've pickled gallons of them. So at this point, I don't really know. I need to like sell them to a hot sauce factory or something, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. We have more to pick. And the next thing is one of my favorites. Holy moly! Let's do it, guys. I didn't even know that was possible.
Me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh! That doesn't look like a potato.
That's insane! That is the record of all time records.
Is awesome. That's a double potato thingy.
It's like it split a little bit and then rehealed. Wow. Whoa. It's starting to rain now, so we're gonna have to call this. But while we were out here, I had Daisy start some slips here, which we can put in our greenhouse and carry on through the winter. That way we have the whites and the purples, and we'll have plenty to plant come spring, because we didn't get quite the harvest I would have liked this year. We got started quite late. I was really wondering how these cassava were going to do, because we don't have a long enough season here for some varieties. And I just collected some from various sellers on Etsy, and somebody sent me some. A couple of people sent me some cuttings, and we planted them. This variety grew very tall, very fast, and I thought, you know, it's probably putting most of its work into above ground growth. And yet, here we are with a good harvest. This bed had biochar in it, and Steve's mix, and alfalfa pellets, and I put various mulches in there and fed it a few times during the growing season. So this is well-fed cassava. It also likes the sandy soil. But this is ridiculously good. I think this is the best I have ever pulled, particularly considering that it only went in, I think, in March. And we get a pile like that. That's the variety that I want for next year. Incredible, and that's just the first one we pulled. that. Over.
She's got like whitish on its wings. Circling over the chickens. Wow.
Hawks are endangered again, aren't they?
No hesitate! No, you don't hesitate! Oh.
It's like, it's actually a full-blown snake.
What? Where did it break?
Yeah, like Q2.
Oh.
Right
Lost
there. Q2, Dad.
Broke a lot of parts that time.
This variety is definitely a winner. I have a friend who is allergic to almost everything, but she can eat cassava, aka yucca, and so I planted extra for her, and man, I am very happy with this. I had a variety from India back in North Florida that was nowhere near this productive at the amount of time that it's grown. I had to let that stuff grow for 1.5 years. It would go through the winter, and then I would have to wait like halfway through the summer, or sometimes into the fall the next year in order to get decent sized roots. The roots were eventually good, but this type, whatever it is, absolutely surpasses it. And this is obviously a good survival crop for Alabama, at least southern Alabama. Very impressed. We're gonna have to grow a bunch more out. Maybe my daughter can offer some for sale. This year, I'm just concentrating on testing varieties and figuring out which one we're gonna reproduce. So these guys, we're saving the cuttings, and we'll definitely be planting it again, and a lot more of it. That is not a bad yam for the first year. I kind of broke it right here, and you see this, it's gonna heal up, but I wanted to pull one. I just couldn't stand it. I had to see how big it got, and I'd say there's a few pounds there. Definitely worked. Very low maintenance plant. Dioscorea alata. Now the cassava turned out really well on that first variety, but we're gonna go pull another variety and see if it is up to par, because that area is really rich soil. So the difference is going to be cultivar. So if the cultivar on the paler stem variety does not keep up with the darker stem variety that we just pulled that had tons and tons of roots, then we know that that is not the best variety for Alabama because it's not fast enough.
I can't tell if this one is splitting off or not.
You said it's not as vigorous, but it's still decent?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, these are definitely smaller roots.
Yeah, but still, it's pretty good for just... Oh, here's a big one.
So
Wow,
we're gonna
look
see.
at all these roots.
Sometimes they go farther down in the ground too.
Yeah, it looks like I don't remember doing that. Yeah, this one. I don't know if I have done this before. This one split
This one
off.
splits off, goes sideways. Oh dear, it takes a dive deeper.
Yep, the guys deeper.
See all the char that's in the ground?
Yeah, that's a lot of
Tons and tons of char in here.
At least
These beds here, I
Oh,
tilled in
that
all that
char.
alfalfa and the char at the same time.
Wow.
These guys are a lot paler root. You can see the variety difference. Here, what? This pile of stems here is from the variety that is more productive. So these will be the ones that we use for next year. And I don't want to mix up my varieties. So these are separate, they're in a pile. I'm gonna cut them up into cuttings and save them through the winter so I can plant them out in the spring. But that will be another video, not this one. We got a ton done today. I did a test on the yams, test on the cassava. We pulled all the sweet potatoes, we harvested all the peppers, and we ripped a bunch of stuff up. We made a great big mess of the gardens, but when you're growing a lot of tropical stuff and you're not in a tropical climate, you gotta be ahead of the frost. And it may or may not actually frost this weekend, but we're trying to get ahead of it just in case it does, because the most recent report says 33 degrees, and we're pretty rural, which means we can go further down below that, or it might be above that. But if we left these out here to go through a frost, we might end up losing all of next year's planting material, and we didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to have all my sweet potatoes get killed in the frost, etc. It's about time to harvest anyways, because the days are getting cooler and shorter, and we're not going to really get much more anyways. Thanks for joining me. I hope you are inspired by this story of cycling and renewal and all that kind of stuff. And be sure to check out my book, Grow or Die, The Good Guide to Survival Gardening. And if you are in Florida and you want to learn more about Florida gardening, particularly on how to feed yourself no matter what, check out my book, Florida Survival Gardening. It's a year old. It's got tons of reviews on it, and people love it. And it will show you how to turn your yard into a food factory. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.